happy Monday. I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your week. My name is Michelle Garrett, and I am here tonight for episode 6 of So You Wanna Blog. Welcome. As you're coming in, hey there, Daria. Hey there, was that Lisa that just popped in? As you're coming in, please tap the 3 dots down here in the corner and share this out, tweet this out, and invite your followers. See, I'm rocking and rolling. I'm inviting followers. Hey there, Afro Sewing. Thank you so much for jumping on as well. And so tonight's a bittersweet because tonight we're going to talk about putting it all together, a brief recap of everything that we have been talking about. And this is episode 6. This is the final this is the final episode. I've got my my helping hands over there giving me give me a heads up, a round of applause while I'm live streaming. Gotta love your kids, right? Gotta love them. And so we're going to briefly recap the things that we have talked about over the past, the other five episodes, and then we're going to talk about what comes next. We're going to really go over some things that you can do and some steps that you can take to continue the momentum, to ensure that you are still showing up on a consistent basis for those that are reading your blog, whether you are doing this just as something that you want to do to talk about your personal journey, just as a personal diary per se, if you're doing this to monetize, if you're doing this as to become a full-time blogger, or if you're doing a blog to really have as part of your existing website and to establish yourself as an expert within your niche, so that you can continue to have content for your customers and potential customers to refer back to. Hey there, Lachey, good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on and inviting your followers. And so it's so important to write consistently, and we talked about that when we were discussing the importance of creating a content calendar. And guys, the steps that we outlined for creating a content calendar, that is just something that you're going to continue to repeat over and over again. Hey there, Janice, thanks so much for jumping in. And so the goal, your original assignment, your original assignment was to come up with 12 to 15 topics that was going to get you started, okay? And so with those 12 to 15 topics, I said in the beginning to get started to commit to posting one blog a week. And so if you post one article a week on your website, and then you spend the remainder of that week really promoting that article, sharing it out, having conversations that surround that topic and driving traffic towards it, that you're setting yourself up for a routine that will help you to continue to build upon that. And so with those initial 12 to 15 topics, you've got 3 to 4 months worth of information that you can talk about. And so you're like, Michelle, what else is it that okay. Oh, yay. That's great. Congratulations. That's awesome. I appreciate you for stopping through. So once you have those first topics, what you're going to do is to continue to build upon them. And so we talked about this inside our content calendar episode, where we talked about the importance of taking a topic and then finding out how you can break off from that topic. You can, for example, who do I want to put on blast here? Elder Carmen's in here. So let's say she writes an article about travel. And so she talks about the importance of having travel within your life, why you want to travel on a regular basis for fun. Well, from that one article, she can then come and do other articles that relate back to that first article, but now she can talk about what to pack when traveling for fun. She can talk about how to plan a trip. The benefits of traveling solo for fun versus traveling with a group or traveling with your family. There's so many different topics. So what you want to do, hey, it's me. Hey there, Janae. What you want to do is really find those cornerstone topics and continue to build upon them so that you can still have new ideas and you can still continue to put content out there. And when you're writing those articles, you can now refer back to your older articles so that when people come onto your site, they come in for this one article and now they're clicking because they've read how to pack Well, now that they've read how to pack, they're going to need to know how to manage their time. They're going to need to know, like, what's the best suitcase that they should take? What are the best accessories that they need to do? So just thinking of all the things, and usually I typically think, and I'll do like a flow chart or just something that I write down on paper where I think about how my brain works. So if I'm doing this step, what are other things after I've written that article or when I'm thinking on this topic, what are other things that I may, that other questions that may arise from me doing this one step, okay? So if you're in the business field, you know, it could be something that you're talking about, you know, how to start a business. You can write forever on that. You can write forever on that. Lachey is in here, and I know she does photography. So, you know, hers could be how to take the perfect back to school photo. Okay, because it's back to school time, and you know, lots of parents are trying to get those back to school photos for their kids. And so from that article, she could build onto it and talk about how to do candid shots throughout the school year so that you can chronicle your child's school year. She can talk about the best outfits to wear. So what are the best types of colors or patterns or no patterns that someone should wear when they're trying to take, you know, really nice photos for their children for school. Maybe alternatives to, yes, forever and ever and ever. You know, alternatives to the traditional school photos. So, you know, we buy those school photos for the fundraisers for our school, but let's say you want some fun shots as well to chronicle your child's back to school. So maybe doing some, you know, what are some fun shots and poses that you can do for your kids. So you get the point. You all get the point. And like I said, if anytime you have any questions or you want to bounce some ideas off of me, definitely feel free to tag me on Twitter and use the hashtag SoYouWannaBlog. Both of them are in the title of this broadcast, and we can continue to have that conversation over on Twitter, okay? And so why do you want to continue to write consistently? Why do you want to continue to make sure that you have articles posted on your site on a regular basis? I talk with my hands, and I keep saying I'm going to try to stop, but it's just when I get excited and passionate, it happens. Number one, you want to make sure that you're continuing to update your readers, okay? You want to make sure that your readers see that you are continuously writing and posting content on your website. And so, you know, if you've gone to a blog and they haven't updated it in like 5 years, that's not very credible. Or if you saw that they were writing and posting like every week and then all of a sudden they fell off and it's in like 5 or 6 months since they posted, then they may think, oh, this person may not be in business anymore. So they just click off and go over to the next person as well. A trick that I tell people to do is to make sure that you're focusing on evergreen content. Evergreen content means that it's something that I can use at any time. It's not something that's dated. So, you know, if you write an article about Christmas, that's not evergreen because I can only use that content around the holidays. But if you write an article about, you know, the importance of celebrating holidays in general, then that's something that I may be able to use throughout the year because holidays happen throughout the year, okay? So if both types of articles are good at certain times because I have some articles that I've written for a specific time of year. I know that during that time of the year, I can expect a spike in my traffic because people are searching out that topic. That is fine. But you don't want to load your site up with articles that are specific to a certain time of the year or something that's really, really narrowed down that people are not going to be searching out on a regular basis because we talked about the importance of SEO, search engine optimization. So we want to make sure that you have articles on your site that people are going to be consistently searching and coming to and coming back to so that you can continue to build upon that information. And again, having articles and writing consistently on your website, it establishes you as an authority because if your readers are seeing that you are coming back and each week you're providing them with a new article. Each week you are providing them with new content and information that they can use and apply to their life, then they're going to establish a bond with you. They're going to want to continue to connect with you on your website, but also on your other social media channels as well. Michelle says, I only blog about equal pay 5 times a year because it has 5 dates and only 1 major date. And I love that, Michelle, because if you already have those articles on your website, and you have them SEO'd in a way that, you know, it's something that someone's going to be searching around those time of years when it's about to happen, then your site, because those articles are already written, your site will continue to build an authority. And if I search out equal pay day for Latinas, then your site will be one of the ones that come up. Or if I search out, equal pay day for African American or Black women, your site will be one of the ones that comes up, because you've already got that content in, and it's just going to continue to get, y'all know my favorite word, that Google juice. You'll continue to get that Google juice so that the information still comes up. And then, because we talked about this, when you are writing consistently, it gives you more content for social media. Yes, because the stuff that you write about on your blog, you're not just going to leave it on your website. You're not going to just leave it on your blog. You're going to share that content out to the social media channels that you're on. You are going to find ways to include it in the conversation. You're going to pull out quotes. You're going to pull out questions so that you can have a conversation about it. And you're going to be able to continue that conversation on social media. So instead of trying to say, well, what am I going to talk about today on my Twitter handle? You can just go and pull up a relevant article that you've written and start a conversation around that. If you're in, oh wow, okay, I have to check it out. So anyone that is a part of the PeriGirls or Social Bosses community, Michelle is saying that she did a Facebook Live on sharing your blog. How did I miss that? You go, girl. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about for these next 15 minutes is really how to continue the momentum and how to continue to build upon the steps that I've already given you, okay? So, we're back. I'm off of my summer schedule, and I'm back on my back to school schedule. So yes, I am starting to go to bed a lot earlier. Like, I'm already drifting off right now. You all know me so well. Okay, so once this series is over, I want you all to be able to continue writing. I don't want you to say, okay, well, Michelle's not going live on Monday nights anymore. I don't have accountability. No, I want you to continue the momentum, and I want you to continue producing content for your websites, whether you have a new blog that you're launching or you're revitalizing a blog. And so over these last weeks, we've talked about the basics, why it's important for you to have a blog. We've talked about what to write, and I gave you that assignment to come up with those 12 to 15 articles or topics. And then we talked about keywords, the importance of keywords and how to SEO them. And then we came up with many descriptions of each of those articles, of those topics as well. And then we decided how they were going to fit into different categories on our website, so that we know how to file them away. And now we're going to talk about the next steps as to, what's going to come next. And that's the question that I have for you all. What is next? What is the reason behind why you need to have a blog? And so it's so important to set some blogging goals. It's so important. Oh, you're welcome, Janice. You're welcome. It's important to have blogging goals. Y'all know me. Anybody that knows Michelle, anyone that knows me knows I'm all about the goals. And I'm going to find a way to talk about it in anything that I talk about, because goals relate to everything that we do. But when you set blogging goals, that's going to allow you to create a manageable schedule. That is how you're going to know how often do I need to create content for my website. What is the purpose of this site? Am I wanting to build a clientele? Am I wanting to establish myself as an expert in this area? Am I wanting to get more speaking engagements? Am I wanting to sell more of a product? Or do I have a course or something that's launching and I want to, give more people information about it? So you want to make sure and know what is your goal, and that's going to help you determine how often you're going to post on your website, the type of topics that you're going to post on your website, and the type of articles. So we talked about the 3 main types of articles if it wasn't last week, it was the week before. We talked about the 3 main types of articles and why it's important to have each of those on your website. Hey there, Nina. Thank you so much for jumping in and sharing this out. I appreciate you. And again, like I said, depending on the platform that you're using, you can have it to where there aren't dates. So I don't know if you ever noticed when you go to a website and it'll have the name of the blog, and then it'll have like a date, and then it'll have the title and the URL. You don't want the title in there. So like my website would be michellegarrett.com/so you want to blog. It wouldn't have any dates in there. And so you can go into the settings in the back end of yours so that you can remove those dates. The reason why you want to remove those dates is that you can easily repurpose that content, because now someone doesn't know if you wrote that article in 2005 or 2015. Okay, and so you can go in there and update it really quick and add some some fresh pictures to it if you need to, a pinnable image, add some click to tweet options in there, and then you can save it. But then you can start to syndicate it or share it again on your social media channels, again, like it's a brand new blog, and no one even knows. And because that article has already been, it's already been published, it's already been cached by Google, so you're going to get, it's going to be easier for you to promote it and kind of push it up so that you can get the proper SEO for it as well. Okay, so number 1, set some blogging goals. Number 2, batch writing. Okay, I like to do what I call an hour power, and you don't have to do this every day, but I would suggest at least 3 times a week if you're really trying to create content for your website and you're saying, Michelle, I need to be serious about this. If you want to be really, really serious about this, you need to do it 5 days a week. You should do it 5 days a week. But with doing that, with batch writing, you're going to batch write your articles, and then you're going to schedule them. So, if you sit down for 1 hour and you say, okay, I can knock out 2 articles during this 1 hour, you have 2 articles that you can now schedule. Because if you do that every day, or at least 3 times a week, then you could possibly get up to 6 or 7 articles that you can pre-schedule. So now you're ahead of the game. Okay, and again, going back to your content schedule, you already know what it is that you want to write about. You already know the topics that are important to you and to your audience. So now it's just sitting down and actually writing those articles. For me, what an hour of power is what I do is I dedicate 1 hour where I'm only working on a specific set of tasks. And so you can say, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes doing research. I'm going to do 15 minutes creating images for these posts, and then I'm going to spend 30 minutes where I'm just writing. And so you set an alarm or set a timer, and for 15 minutes, you do your research, whatever research it is that you need to do. When that timer goes off, you stop. No matter where you're at with your research, you're done for the day. That's all you allocated for it. Then you set another timer for 15 minutes, and you work on images. We talked about how to create static images to where last week we talked about how to create a template so that you can just easily switch out your pictures and your images and change the words, so it's really easy for you to create the images, and people get used to knowing if I see an image, I know that belongs to Michelle's website. Or if I see this image and this set of colors and this set of this font combination, then I know that belongs to the lovely photog. I know that's her website. You're very informative. Thank you, Sharonda. I appreciate it. I'm glad that this content helps you. This is the 6th episode of this series, so if anyone is catching this and this is the first time that you've seen it, welcome. Thank you so much for jumping in and joining us. I encourage you to go watch the other episodes if you're looking to learn how to blog or how to revitalize your blog, and you can just scroll through this timeline and you'll see my beautiful face. I have different hair but you'll see my beautiful face, and you can also go over to Twitter and search out the hashtag so you want to blog. It's in this title as well, and you'll be able to find the different the other episodes, and definitely feel free to connect with me on Twitter, and I can answer any questions that you have about blogging, because like I said, I have been doing this for 9 years now. And blogging is what led me to leave my full-time job, and it kickstarted my my business that I run myself. Okay, so we talked about the action steps that we're going to take to continue the momentum. Is we're going to set some blogging goals. And then we are going to batch write so that we can pre-schedule our stuff, and we're not like sitting there at 10 o'clock having to post a blog at 10:30. Because, you know, we never do that. Never. Don't be like Michelle. And then the last thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we are active on social media. Okay, so we just talked about how, you know, once you write a blog post, that it's important to syndicate and share that blog post out, because that's how you're going to get people to come and read your information. But also, this is another way for you to be able to kind of tie in all of your social media platforms onto your website. We talked about in previous episodes how it's really important, if you're writing a blog, it's really important to have a pinnable image on there. It's important to have an image that is formatted for Pinterest, and the Pinterest images should be long. If you go to Pinterest, you'll notice that most of the images that you see, they are rectangles that are long. What are ways to syndicate blogs? I will get to that. So Pinterest is one way to syndicate your blog, your blog post, because people y'all would be amazed at the things that people search out on Pinterest. And here's a secret, okay? I'm gonna give y'all a little secret real quick. Don't y'all tell nobody the secret, okay? Type a 1 if you promise to keep my secret. Type a 1 if you promise to keep my secret. So here's a secret about Pinterest. I don't see a 1. Y'all don't want my secret. It's okay. I'll keep my secret to myself. Chandra said 2. Y'all are no good. When you pin stuff to Pinterest, I know you wouldn't tell anybody, Elder Carmen. When you pin things to Pinterest, you don't have to just pin an article or a website. Like, you don't have to pin an article that goes directly back to your website, okay? So what are you talking about, Michelle? Let's say you do a really good Periscope broadcast. And it has really good actionable tips and information, and you're like, I want to get some more eyes on this. You can create a graphic. You can create a graphic for that broadcast. Like, you put your title in it and you find a nice picture that goes along with it and pin it, and then have the URL. Because you can set your own URL. You can set the URL to go to your Periscope broadcast, or you can have it set to go to your Facebook Live, or you can have it set to go to well, of course, your blog post, because that's what you wanted to go to. How long have you been blogging? I have been blogging for 9 years now. I was off on my counting. I thought it was 10, and then I remembered how old my son was when I started when I wrote my first official blog post. And so he turned 10 this year. So next year in August. Next year, August will be 10 years. Yeah. So I just realized I have to do something next year to commemorate 10 years, like a whole decade of blogging. So I haven't decided yet, but in August, I will be doing something to commemorate 10 years of blogging, because like I've shared before with previous episodes of this, like, blogging has really been a game changer with my business. I am a full-time blogger. I do have a full-time income that comes from not only from blogging, but also from the different things and businesses that I've started as a result of being a blogger. Thank you so much. And so, Michelle, you asked, what was your question? You asked me, what are ways to syndicate your blog? So we were talking about Pinterest. So I really think that's important to have some type of share onto Pinterest. Hey there from OKC. Twitter, when you share your blog post onto Twitter, that is syndicating it. So with Twitter, usually what I will do is I embed, if I use WordPress. So if you're on WordPress, there is a plugin called Click to Tweet, and there's some other ones that are similar to it as well. But essentially, you can embed a tweet into your article. So like, if I'm reading your article, and you've probably seen this in other websites that you've done. If I'm reading your article, if there's like a quote or a fact that stands out, I can just easily click that button and share it, and I don't have to think about it. But when I click click it to tweet it. I'm sharing your point, and you want it to be a tweetable quote. You want it to be something that people are scroll by and see, and then they'll want to get more information about it. But I am linking back to your article, but I'm also tagging you as well. So you'll see that I shared it. And so now you can engage and interact with me on Twitter as well if you use the Twitter platform. You could also share it on Facebook for like list topics. I like to do a Facebook Live about those list topics. So, if I write about, 5 ways to kickstart the new school year, then I will do a Facebook Live about 5 ways to kickstart a new school year. And then I'll talk about it, and then I'll say, if you want to get more information about this, click here, and then I'll give them the link to the blog post. Anytime I do any type of live about a blog article that I've written, once I have finished that live, I will go back and embed that live into my article. Okay, so you're either going to see it, you'll either come to the blog first and you'll read it and you'll be like, oh, this is great. And some people like to read, but if you're reading it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it, but let me hear and I want to hear it as well so I can get this information, then there'll be something on there for you to click so that you can either engage and watch it on Twitter or on Facebook. If I do a Periscope broadcast about it, then typically I'll share the tweet that goes out on Twitter. I'll embed that in my website. And if I do both, guess what? I'll share both of them in there. So if you talk about your blog posts on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, IGTV, any of those, you can. I don't think you can embed into IGTV, but if you do just you can't embed an IGTV yet, but you can embed an Instagram post that you do about your article. Now here's the great thing about IGTV. If you do a video about your article and upload it to IGTV, you can actually include a link to your website that's clickable, so that people can read it, they can watch it, and then they can click the link and go over to your website. And then once you've created an IGTV post about it, or IGTV, broadcast about it, you can now do a story, so you can talk about the article. So maybe you can give like 2 out of 5 of the tips in your Instagram story or talk about it. And even if you don't have 10,000 or more followers, you can link to your IGTV broadcast using the swipe up function as well. And that, what did Michelle say? So how does the graphic for Pinterest work with the video? That was my new question. You can actually, I believe I've seen video actually embedded into Pinterest. I'm not a big fan of that, but essentially you would just go to Pinterest, you'd create the graphic, and so just the same way as people were searching out information and knowledge, they would click on that and they would come to your video that they could watch versus your article that they could read, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. And I think, Michelle, we said that we were going to do a Facebook Live where you asked me all the questions that that came to mind, so that we could do some follow-up conversations about this as well. So we can do that this week if you have time to do it. That would be great, since we're culminating So You Want to Blog this week as well. But the things that I love when I'm able to delegate to you instead of it usually being the other way, where you're telling me what to do. The things that I want to make sure that you do and commit to doing to continue the momentum and make sure that you are consistently posting articles and you are consistently sharing new content and connecting with your readers. Okay, that's okay. We can do it. We can do it next week. Is that you're creating content, you're posting that content, and then you're publicizing that content. And you just continue to repeat, okay? So create, post, publicize, repeat. Create, post, publicize, repeat, okay? So that you are continuously creating content for your website so that you can put stuff out there and continue to connect and engage with your people. And that's it, y'all. That's my time. If you all have any questions, definitely feel free to ask them in the questions below. What is your site? My website is called Divas with a Purpose. That is my lifestyle blog that I started, and that has most of my content. I have a website under my name, Michelle D. Garrett, as well, but my main website that I use and I monetize on a regular basis is Divas with a Purpose. And then where do you find post ideas? I find, and we talked about this, and there's an episode talking about creating a content calendar, where I shared some ways for you to find content and information, but I find inspiration all over the place. You're welcome, Elder Carmen. I find inspiration from just brain dumping about the things that I know that my community wants to learn about. So a lot of times when I do Facebook Lives or Periscope broadcasts, there may be questions that come up from different articles that I read or research that I've done, depending on the season and the time of the year. So I try to do things that are timely based on the season as well. So it's back to school. So this is the time of year that I'm going to be talking more about back to school stuff. I'm going to talk about how to prepare for back to school, how to ease your children out of their summer schedule into their regular schedule, how to be successful with back to school. And even if you are not a parenting blog or have a parenting focus, there are still things around this time of year that can still benefit you. So you can talk about fall. I like to look at like the different celebration or awareness months that they have, so that can be something that you can talk about as well, because that's going to be good for SEO. And then I look at what my niche is and what are the general questions that people will consistently ask about whatever it is that I talk about. So if you are an athlete, what are the things that people are always asking you about? If you are into fitness, what are the questions that people normally ask you about? That is what you're going to start off with your content, and then you're going to build it up before. Nina says I have to catch up on some shows. It's okay. The content is here. It's not going anywhere. So you can get started when you are ready. And again, you all know how to connect with me. I am at Diva MD Garrett here on Periscope and Twitter and Instagram. So feel free to connect with me there. And if you have any questions about this, definitely feel free to tweet me over on Twitter. Using the hashtag #SoYouWannaBlog and just at me, so I'll be able to see it and we'll be able to continue that conversation. Okay? So I hope you all have an amazing, amazing week. I can't wait to see all of the great blogs that come out of this series. Feel free to share them with me directly once you get them posted, and I will definitely help you to share them out, give you any type of feedback or information that you need. And I'm just excited to see just you all taking your blogs to the next level, building upon your live streams, because most of us are live streamers, and this is just a way to take that content that we're talking about on our live streams and putting it over on our website so that we can continue to educate and reach our community. All right? Nina says I need to start my fall blog for singles for real. Okay, we will make that a goal of yours for October. Or does it need to be for September? We'll make that one of your September goals. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Good night, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye, y'all.